on earth should these two be given taxpayer-funded security in the first place? They are no longer working royals.
Australian viewers of the Mark Dolan show don't want to see Harry and Meghan. The reason why it went down well in 2018, Paul, is because the Australian public didn't know Meghan Markle very well. Well, they know her now. And what do they know her to be? A gold-digging grifter.
I love you.
Quick update. This one's getting messy fast. If you want the real breakdown as it unfolds, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.
Australians don't want them there. They're not interested. And they've raised a petition in Australia to say, look, if they do come, free country, but if they do come, they're coming as private citizens. This is not a royal tour. And we do not want a single penny of Australian taxpayers' money spent on the police protecting these two.
Over 45,000 Australians? Yeah, that's the live number right now on a change.org petition. And the message is straight to the point. We don't want you here. No sugarcoating at all. Just today alone, 758 more names got added, all aimed at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and their planned visit. The full title says it all. No taxpayer funding or official support for their private trip to Australia. This didn't just pop up either. A Sydney-based group called Beyond Australia launched it back on November 14th, 2025, and for months it barely moved, sitting around 200 signatures. Then suddenly, mid-March, something flipped. The numbers exploded. 10,000.
Who are literally living a fantasy now. There's no royal visit. They don't even have a charity. This is all just a private money-making tour.
30,000, 40,000, climbing fast in a way nobody expected. Beyond Australia didn't just collect signatures and sit back either. They went straight to the top, writing directly to Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns, and Victoria's Jacinta Allen, asking one simple question: will even a single taxpayer dollar be used for this trip? And right now, still waiting on answers.
The PR and the pomp and pageantry almost of being part of the royal family, but they don't really want any of the responsibility, do they? They like to turn up to events, have a few photos taken, look like the charming, lovely people that they wish to present themselves as, and then go home, then go back.
But here's where it gets loud without anyone speaking. Major agencies have already backed off. PM and Cabinet said no involvement. Home Affairs said the same. Federal police, no comment on protection. And not one politician has stepped up to defend the visit. That silence, it's louder than anything written on that petition page. Now look, 45,000 signatures in a country of 26 million isn't some full-blown uprising.
Can I just tell you that Australia has tackled illegal immigration very successfly. And I think given the fact that Harry and Meghan are on their way, I think it's time to reactivate Operation Sovereign Borders, Paul. Airstrikes, get the boat.
But it's big enough to shift the mood. Big enough that politicians are acting like they didn't see it, even though everyone knows they did. And that matters because back in 2018, the whole narrative was that Australia loved Harry and Meghan. No questions, no hesitation. That idea, it just took a serious hit, and it happened. Quietly, right there on a petition page, the Sussex team doesn't seem to be watching. Go back to October 17th, 2018, Dubbo, New South Wales.
He loves it, doesn't he? I mean, that probably is what keeps him going. He's so sad and miserable in his own life because he's basically Meghan's spare handbag that he just feels better when he, slags off, as you said. He loves criticizing everybody except for himself.
Harry stood in the rain, no umbrella, talking to drought-hit farmers at a free event anyone could attend. Thousands showed up, and he said on camera, "You must not silently suffer. Asking for help was one of the best decisions I ever made." Then in 2021, he admitted on Armchair Expert, privilege does give you blinders. Those words hit different now. Fast forward to April 15th.
Gold by more than 50%.
I can't imagine why nobody's going, can you? I mean, it sounds so interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds so interesting. From a man who can't keep an employee to save his life, talking about workplace mental.
To 16th, 2026, Melbourne Park. Same country, same topic, mental health, but a very different setup. Harry's headlining the InterEdge Psychosocial Safety Summit, supporting Lifeline, a respected charity. And to be clear, this isn't about the charity at all. The real question is the price tag. Platinum tickets, 2,378 Australian dollars. Gold, 1,978 Australian dollars. Then just 9 days before the event.
Obviously what's going on here is some guy in Australia has gone, I'm starting up a wellness retreat. Who can I get to come and promote it and see if I can get some publicity for it? I know. I'll ring up the grifters in chief. I'll pay them a couple of £100,000. They'll come to Australia and I'll get loads of publicity, and lots of idiots might go there because they might think it's the home of, celebrity wellness. And that's what it's all about. It's completely a commercial deal. They're trying to make out that it's a semi-royal visit, right? It's not. It's literally hoping against hope that they get a free goodie bag at the end of it that might have a Rolex in it. I mean, it's that.
Boom. 2 new tiers quietly appear. Delegate passes at $997 Australian dollars and virtual access at 498 Australian dollars. That delegate tier cuts the gold price by more than half. Even IB Times UK pointed it out. And still, no public comment from organizers or Harry's team. There's no official ticket data out.
Somehow that Australians are a little naive, a little easy to skin as far as flogging her as ever merchandise. I think she thinks we're, hicks down under that won't see through it all and be just so honoured that she's graced us with her spreads.
There, but reports say Harry's speaking fee is around 50,000 Australian dollars, similar to what he earned at a major Washington event earlier this year. And here's where it gets even more unexpected. According to Paula Froelich, he was brought in as a last-minute replacement after Deepak Chopra's name came up in Epstein-related files. Her words, a Hail Mary. That's a big shift behind the scenes. So now you've got the same message about asking for help.
She's never sold, 100,000 quid's worth of jam, quite frankly.
No way.
It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. And I see that she's off to Australia. She's copyrighted the As Ever brand, and she's going to land in Australia and she's going to get booed because people hate the woman. She's ghastly. She's toxic. She's horrible. She's ruined a young, once promising man who's now a husk of his former self, who cannot even stand up for it.
But delivered from a stage where even the cheapest seat is pushing $1,000. That contrast is hard to ignore. Nobody's questioning Lifeline, but people are definitely asking when things changed. When did open math turn into exclusive access? The farmers in Dubbo didn't need a ticket back then, and this is where it all starts connecting in a way most people aren't seeing yet. Before we go deeper, lock in this date, October 3rd, 2025. That detail is going to matter more than you think, because now we're stepping into Meghan's side of the story, her Sydney retreat, her best life.
Morning yoga classes, sound healing, a manifestation session. What the hell is that? What's going on, Samara?
Meghan is trading trash for cash at this point. I mean, seriously, she is.
Running April 17th to 19th at the Intercontinental Coogee Beach. One name behind it, Gemma O'Neill, not to be confused with Jackie O from Radio, and Jackie Henderson. She already stepped away from that podcast back on February 3rd, and that's just the start of where this gets even more layered.
If you're an online psychotic sycophant of Meghan, you're more than welcome to come. But if you're a professional woman that happens to work in a media career, no, sorry, we'll take your money, then we'll kick you out. It's honestly, this has just got disaster written all over.
This next part, yeah, it gets even tighter, so stay with me because the timeline here is doing all the talking. And if you haven't already, tap subscribe so you don't miss how this connects back. O'Neill is running this solo through her company, Besties Australia, and the timeline. That's where everything starts lining up in a way that's hard to ignore. Lock in these dates. October 3rd, 2025, she buys a 3-bedroom cottage in Fitzroy Falls, New South Wales for 1.025 million Australian dollars. That's confirmed by Daily Mail Australia and GB News. Then just 7 weeks later, November 25th, 2025.
Ridiculousness of the petition. He said it was a stupid assertion. In their response, batting back that Australians had dared to say, hang on a minute, we don't want our money being spent on these two. So they were very, very rude with the reaction. Any other normal person would have been like, oh, look, okay, look, I do understand there are concerns, but we will be paying our own way. No, they came out with quite a combative statement that was very, very rude towards the Australians. Patronising, I would.
Her separate talent company, GMI Agency, goes into voluntary liquidation. That's not rumor. That's ASIC public record. Straight documents. Then February 20th, 2026, she tells administrators she can't repay anything. Her reasons are on record. No personal savings, limited income, and a failed refinance on her Sydney apartment. 4 days later, February 24th, Grant Thornton drops the creditor report. total debt, $546,848 Australian dollars, and almost all of it, $543,548 Australian dollars, is owed to the Australian Taxation Office. That's a serious number.
Hit back furiously saying, no. Okay, 32,000 people have signed this petition, but 25 million Australians haven't. So therefore, they're very popular. When they get to Australia, those two, they are going to get...
But here's where it gets even more intense. The administrators flagged a 7-figure commission paid to an unnamed client, and they said it wasn't backed by any loan agreement. No commercial logic, no clear benefit to the company. They also noted the agency may have been insolvent as far back as December 2024. Then, just 2 weeks later, March 11th, 2026, O'Neill announces Meghan as the headline speaker for a retreat.
There's no excitement, there's no build, and it's almost like they don't want to be associated with her, with Meghan Markle, because it's really bad for their brand.
Charging 2,699 Australian dollars per ticket. Now pause, because this part matters. Besties Australia and GMI Agency are legally separate entities, so no one is saying money from the retreat is directly paying off those debts. That's not a claim, but the question is sitting right there, and even News Nation framed it clearly. Who is actually financing this event, and where is the money going? Because so far, no public answer. Around the same time, O'Neill deletes her personal Instagram, and people watching this unfold are asking something simple.
Questions are being asked about the appropriateness of this visit to Australia now. There's a cost of living crisis, and yet there you go, Meghan is swanning around like a Z-list or Z-list celebrity, as you say in America, charging money for selfies essentially at this Sydney retreat where people are paying thousands of dollars and so forth. They clearly realize that they have no other role in life. There's nothing else that they can really do except for ape the monarchy, but they were supposed to have separated themselves from the monarchy.
What kind of background check was done before locking this in? That question hasn't gone away. Now let's break down what 2,699 Australian dollars actually gets you. 2 nights at the Intercontinental Coogee Beach, a gala dinner, disco night, lunch, yoga, sound healing, meditation with O'Neill, and a conversation with Meghan at the gala dinner. Sounds polished. Until you hit this detail, you're sharing a bed with a stranger if you book solo. Yeah, that's the standard package. If you want your own room, you're pushed into the VIP tier at 3,199 Australian dollars.
These two cretins literally accused the British royal family of institutional racism as Prince Philip lay on his deathbed as the late Queen Elizabeth II was battling bone cancer. Prince William will never forgive them, and you want to bring them back to us at a time, by the way, when their charity ventures have failed, when their business ventures have failed, when they've been dumped by
Ocean View goodie bag and a photo with Meghan. And then this happened. 7 News reporter Ariana Packy actually paid the full 2,699 Australian dollars like a regular guest. She asked for her own room, then requested a tax invoice. That's when organizers realized she was media. And just like that, her ticket was refunded and her access revoked. The reason? No media permitted. But here's the issue. There was no clear rule about media at the time of purchase. Ariana published everything on April 9th, emails included, full receipts. At the same time, the sold out story started slipping.
Public from what exactly? I mean, they think there's going to be so many people there, they'd need to set up railings, they'd need crowd control? Absolutely not. The few people that might turn up to see Harry and Meghan, I don't think are really going to have nice things to say about them, but that's all it's going to be. A boo here and there. So what, they've got police protecting them from people booing? Good luck with that.
Exactly, and this is all to protect their...
Back in mid-March, it was fully booked. Then suddenly, a handful of additional rooms just released. That's a direct quote. People online picked up on it fast, saying it looked like a last push to fill spots. And here's another detail. Those same retreat dates had been sitting unavailable on the hotel's booking system for weeks, suggesting the rooms might not have been fully booked in the first place.
And all this guy needed to say was, this trip is not going to be used using any Australian taxpayers' money. End. He didn't have to say anything else. Oh, there's only 35,000, but there's 27 7 million people. He didn't have to say that, and that's a bit.
So picture this clearly: you pay over 2,600 Australian dollars, fly into Sydney, walk into your room, and a stranger's already there. Like, looks like we're sharing. And if you happen to be a journalist, you don't even get that far. You're out the door. That's not what most people expect when they hear empowerment retreat. And now people are starting to look a lot closer at who's controlling access and why, because this still isn't the part that ties everything together just yet. This is where it really flips, because once they finally spoke out, everything got louder, not quieter. Stay locked in, because this part changes how the whole story lands. With the petition climbing, ticket drama building, and that Grant Thornton report circulating, the Sussex camp finally broke their silence on March 26th. Daily Mail got the statement first, and every outlet followed. The spokesperson said, "It's a moot point. The trip is being funded privately, so I'm not sure what this petition hopes to achieve." Sounds simple, but then they kept going, and this is where the tone hit different. They added, "If you wanted to dive into the ridiculousness of this petition as an agenda for spreading misinformation, then one could equally hypothesize that there are approximately 26.5 million Australians, 99.98% of the population, who haven't signed it, who must therefore agree with the taxpayer picking up the tab." And of course, that is another equally stupid assertion to make. Read that carefully. It wasn't support, it was sarcasm, sharp and direct, a professional statement openly mocking tens of thousands of people who had already signed their names. Beyond Australia didn't drag it out. They fired back the next morning with one line: "Silence does not equal consent." Clean, simple, and it stuck. Then voices started piling in. Royal biographer Tom Bower told the Daily Telegraph, "Meghan is doing it for money. It's rather grubby. She's monetizing her royalty. Pretty shabby because she promised the Queen she wouldn't do that." Strong words and very public. PR analyst Maya Riaz added in the Mirror that attaching her name to a high-ticket exclusive event during criticism around relatability feels totally tone-deaf. That narrative started locking in fast. Here's the twist that should have raised alarms. The petition on its own might have slowed down around 5,000 signatures. That statement, it poured fuel on it. From the moment it dropped, thousands more names stacked on. Instead of shutting the story down, it pushed it further into the spotlight. The response didn't calm things, it amplified everything, and then one more detail slipped out that didn't get enough attention. On April 9th, internal planning notes were quietly shared with select media by Liam Maguire, the Sussex communications lead. One line stood out: "No walkabouts in Australia. None. Not in Sydney, Melbourne, or Canberra." The reason given: security costs tied to managing public crowds. Now compare that to 2018. That royal tour backed by the Queen had 76 engagements across 4 countries in just 16 days. Opera House, Bondi Beach, Dubbo, Melbourne. Free events, open access, huge crowds everywhere. People showed up in massive numbers, emotional moments everywhere. A young boy, Luke Vincent, hugging Harry on camera. That image stuck with the whole country. Fast forward to 2026, and the plan looks very different. A children's hospital visit, one Invictus Australia event on Sydney Harbour, a women's shelter, an AFL club stop, a rugby match, and a short Canberra visit. Without Meghan, and here's the detail that stands out: the retreat? It's not even listed in the official itinerary. And that gap right there, that missing piece, is what's about to raise even bigger questions next. And this is where everything circles back, because one detail quietly changes how you see all of it. If you've made it this far, stay with me, because this final piece hits different. Maguire's own team treated the retreat as a completely separate commercial event and left it off the official itinerary entirely. That's not a small omission, that's a line being drawn. And sitting right in the middle of everything is one question that keeps coming up. From Tom Bower, Beyond Australia, 7 News, even everyday Mardik watching this unfold, who is actually paying for what? The petition focuses on security costs. The retreat raises questions about lifestyle funding, and the Sussex response? Private. But when you line up the public records, the reports, the timelines, it doesn't fully close the gap. Back in 2018, Harry and Meghan landed in Sydney, and the istiqbal was instant. Crowds rushing in, open events, real access. Fast forward to 2026, and it's a completely different scene. They're arriving with a petition saying, "We don't want you here." A retreat organized by someone whose separate company owes over $500,000 to the tax office. A keynote event that quietly dropped ticket prices by over 50% just days before it started. And an operations plan that makes it clear here. No public walkabouts, no casual crowd moments, no showing up just to see them. That shift, it's hard to ignore. It doesn't feel like a traditional tour anymore. It feels structured, controlled, and behind a paywall. Now, to be fair, none of us were in that room on March 26th when that moot point statement was written. Everything here comes from public sources. ASIC filings, change.org numbers, verified news reports, on-record quotes, and the Grant Thornton creditor report. The facts are out there. The real question is what those facts add up to, and what decisions get made next because of them. And here's the part that hasn't been fully unpacked yet. Buried inside that February 24th Grant Thornton report is a detail that didn't get enough attention. A 7-figure commission payment with no contract, no documentation, and no clearly stated purpose. That's not a small oversight. That's a major question mark. Tom Bauer's betrayal talks about patterns like this in a different context. And when you start putting those pieces side by side, the picture gets a lot heavier. That's where the next breakdown goes even deeper, because this story doesn't stop here, not even close. If you want the full picture as it develops, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.